I wrote my book about Tom Sawyer with my Hannibal boyhood in mind. That's not the whole story, though. The impetus for looking backward in this way was actually rooted in imagining what Langdon's childhood would have been had he continued his sojourn with us. Even here in Connecticut, much of his boyhood experiences would have been similar to mine, despite the remove of time and place. The motivation and inspiration for the book came less from nostalgia for my own bygone youth than from a profound pining for the lost boyhood of my son. While Livy tried to escape the constant and nagging pain of the loss by reading novels, my way out of the debilitating grief and crushing guilt was through writing, even if indirectly, of the incalculable loss. So in 1876, the centennial of the country, I published my first novel, that is, first written solely by me, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. At first, I didn't quite know what I had in the book. What sort of book was it? I had difficulty deciding whether it was a boy's book or should it be meant for grown-ups, or simply for people of all ages and backgrounds. Howells, to whom I gave the manuscript to read, loved it from the outset, and he was adamant. It was a boy's book. I accepted his judgment, which in such matters was usually fireproof. The characters in that book were drawn from life. They were based on people I knew and grew up with in Hannibal, many of them members of my own household. Tom Sawyer himself was the exception, for he wasn't based on just one boy in that village, but was built of the composite order of architecture. It took 3 boys in the village, combining their idiosyncrasies to make up Tom Sawyer. Actually, as this is my final autobiography and testimony, I may as well admit here that I too contributed something to Tom's persona, and thus he was actually a quadruplet, boiled down into one audaciously irrepressible child. And not just the characters, but also the events. Most of the incidents in the book had their foundation in actual happenings in which I participated or that I witnessed in my youth in St. Petersburg.